Good morning, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here. Rochelle White, good morning. How are you doing today? Mofelola, good morning. Nikki Okoro, Shegun Fatumo, Charles Smith. Kike Adetiba, Mayowa Viva, Daniel Asenga, Adeagbo Elizabeth Ali, Eric Lindu, Bose Fanjola, Ushi Amadi, Shioma Ogwidi, Amonike, Anastasia McDonald, Tony Ogunwo Moju, Dr. Bien Sufficient, Shegun Julius, Stella Nuhu, Ola Martin, T.Y. Moore, Oluwafunmilayo Dina, Jake Oke, A.K. Johnson, Amy Bobby, Ekundayo Lukayode. Well, as you people are coming in, let's immediately begin to share the button for this program. Let's begin to share the program. I'm continuing today the topic that I started yesterday. What ruins relationship between parents and children? What is it that could lead to a bad, destroyed, and breakdown in relationship between children and their parents, or parents and their children? And this is a message, of course, for the parents, so that they will be aware of the things they need to be careful of, so that they don't provoke their children. Like the Bible says that we parents should live in a way that we don't provoke our children. Sometimes we relate to our children as if they are the only ones that need to that own us something, that they are the ones that need to honor us and need to be responsible to us. But sometimes we don't know what we're doing that actually provoke these children. So that's why these teachings is important for us to know what are the things that as parents we might be doing wrong that could make us to lose our children eventually. They might still be obeying right now. They might still be like listening. But, when they get to teenage years or when they leave home, then, they become very difficult to handle. So for you to avoid any breakdown in relationship between you and your children, some of these principles will really help. So if you have not shared the link to this message yet, you might want to go and do it. So let's go and look for the button under the video. You will see a share button there. And let's quickly go share that button. Let's quickly go share that message. Let's go share the message. Let's go share the message. All right. So here we go. The first point I'm talking, I've already given you several points yesterday, but the first point I'm talking about today, that what leads to one of the factors that lead to a breakdown relationship between parents and children is, one, the desire to please a child by all means. When you want to please your child by all means, when you are doing everything to the child, when you're giving him everything he wants, and you don't want him to cry, so you give him to eat, or you don't want him. When parents basically become slaves to their children, you become a slave to your child just because you want to make him happy. And that is the other extreme. This extreme, I don't know if they have them in Africa. I know most people we have here are from Africa, but in the West, in Europe, some people fall into that problem, into that mistake, by allowing their children to dictate to them to dominate them actually by their desires. So a child will cry, will cause you all kind of confusion, and just because he wants something, and if you don't give him what he wants, he begins to cause a lot of havoc and hysterias and all that. So but that's something you want to avoid. You don't want that to happen, because it ends very bad. It ends up bad eventually when you give a child everything he wants. It's just like saying a child wants to always eat. A child doesn't want to take breakfast. He doesn't want to take lunch. He doesn't want to take dinner. He only wants to take dessert. So in the morning he takes dessert. In the afternoon he takes cake. In the evening he takes another sweet. And you are only giving that child sweet because that's what he wants. You're going to kill him. And that is what leads to obesity that we often see in the Western world, especially in America, because they don't want to say no to the child. The child wants to go to McDonald's in the morning, you let him go. He wants to go to McDonald's in the evening, you let him go. He wants to eat fast food 3 times a day, you let him eat fast food 3 times a day. And that is what leads to that kind of disease like obesity, and because a mother or father is not used to saying no to the baby. When you are not used to saying no and rejecting and refusing the desires and some of the desires and the needs of the baby, you don't do them a service. You do them a misservice. You actually kill your child that way. You are not helping your baby, you are destroying your baby. So a parent loses his child when she tries all her best to give that baby everything the baby wants. The baby becomes a little god in the house, and father and mother are worshiping him. Look at this photograph here. I hope you'll be able to get it. Can you see the picture? The father and the mother, they are bowing down, they are worshiping him, and he is sitting down on the throne like the king. That is what happens when we fulfill all the desires of our child. You are not providing leadership. You are not really parenting that child. He's dominating you. This actually happens when parents have been looking for children for long. When they've been looking for a child for long, and when they finally have one, then they begin to do everything for him. That is very counterproductive. That child will run you crazy when he gets to be adult. He will not go and work. He will expect the parents to provide everything for him. Even when the parents are old, they will still be the one providing for the child because he's not used to working and he's used to receiving things from the parents. So the child becomes the terrorist in the home. And every child has a tendency to become a dictator to the parents if the parents allow him. So if you don't stop your child, if you don't stop that baby and teach him on time, he's going to sit on your head. That baby is going to be the semi-god or demigod in the home. Just because the parents didn't take their place of authority. So if you don't take your place of authority, the child will sit on your head. And the way that happens is by the parents providing everything for the child that he wants. If you keep on providing for that child everything he wants, it will sit on your head. I see that some people are congratulating Aline. I want to join hands with them and add my voice and say, congratulations, Sister Aline. More grace, more blessings, more favor, and the blessings of God upon you and your family. Happy birthday to you, that God will fulfill your heart desires and it will lead you to a higher place in Jesus' name. So yes, that is one problem that you don't want to allow in your family. Don't just be at the mercy of the child. Don't be at the mercy of your child. You know, and the way to do that is when you don't want to offend the child and you are constantly giving to the child everything that he wants. That will eventually be counterproductive because that child will see it as normal to always demand something from you at all time. And whenever you fail to perform or whenever you fail to give the child anything that he desires or wants, you are the one to be blamed. He will not remember the good things you have already done for him, and he will not be saying thank you for what you have done already. He will only remember the things that you couldn't do. It's just like that is exactly the reason why we don't give birthday gifts to our children. That's why we don't make it a tradition in our family to give birthday gifts or New Year gifts or Christmas gifts. We don't give birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, and New Year gifts to children because we know that once they get used to it, they will no more appreciate it, that it's a blessing that it is for them, that is a sacrifice for you to do those things for them. They will rather be condemning you whenever you fail to do it. And whenever you come up without a gift, then they will see you as bad. They will see you as a bad parent. They will be judging you and from the prisma of that of the gift and of what you failed to do. They will not remember the good things you have done. They will only remember the things that you couldn't do. And when they grow up also, they will be looking at other children and be saying, okay, that father was able to give the son an apartment or a house on the birthday, and you didn't give me everything on my birthday or on my wedding. That other parents were able to give on the wedding a car, but you didn't give me anything on my wedding or that thing. So they will begin to accuse you for what you didn't do. That's why you don't want to go to a situation whereby you make your children to be used to think that they take everything for granted. You don't want them to take your parenting for granted, and you don't want them to take it for granted that you give them anything or buy anything for them or order on birthday or Christmas, because once they get used to those things, you will never be able to teach them right again. If you have not shared the link to this message, if you have not shared the message, it's under your video. You have a share button. Please go and press the share button. This message might be able to help somebody else down the line. And concerning those people who want to come for HMT in January, it's like God is answering the prayer of some of you. Pastor Chris from London says she wants to bring 3 people and maybe come by herself too, just to be able to make sure that the HMT happens. She doesn't want us to stop the HMT by no means. So she says she would rather even pay for those people to come than not for us to cancel the HMT. So if you still want to come for HMT or you just want to come for fellowship with Pastor Sunday, it's still good. it's like we're still, it's like we might not cancel it at the end of the day. Okay, the next thing that could lead to a breakdown of relationship between parents and children is when the parents are too proud and too close to to interact and to go down to the level of the other. So let's say you are living in a family whereby the father is too proud and too pompous, too full of himself, that he's not simple enough, and he doesn't see it as necessary to go down to the level of the wife. The children will see that. So if there is pride in the family, and that pride leads to closeness of the heart, it leads to closeness of it leads to the closeness in relationship. So a man that is a person, whether the man or the woman that is too proud, he closes up. It doesn't go to the level of the next person. So if the father of the house is proud, he thinks it's an insult, or is something demeaning for him to go to the level of the wife and do things for the wife and humble himself and speak to the wife and open up himself to the wife and share his heart with the wife, because he's too proud. And when he's not doing that, it means that the children will see that, and that will be transferred to the children. The children will pride is not even allowed in the relationship, in the family relationship at all. Family relationship is must be open relationship. That's when trust is accepted, or that's where trust will come from, when there is openness and there is humility. So a father of the house must not be too proud to not just humble himself and come down to the level of the wife, but he must also be humble enough to be able to come down to the level of the children and be able to open up to them and talk to them. And so that is where the free flow of love, free flow of trust, and free flow, the blood flow will be regulated in the family. But when any member of the family is too proud, then there will be no openness, there will be no trust, there will be no open relationship, there will be no free flow of natural bonding in the family. And if it is the wife that is too proud, the same thing. If the wife is too proud, it's like you are turning your back on the other person, and the children will pick that up, and the children will not be able to open up to you too. So the children will not be open to the parents, they will not be open to each other, and they will condemn you in their hearts, but they too will still grow up and repeat the same thing. What is pride in the family? This is how pride looks in the family. When husband and wife are proud, they are closed. They turn their backs at each other. Everybody live their own lives, and there is no relationship. You see, there is no relationship. Relationship is, open arms, open embrace. But you see what we have here is rather closeness. They turn away their heads from each other. And the children are seeing this. So the children are totally close too. So pride is not supposed to be tolerated in the family from any member of the family, either from the mother or the father or from the children. Everybody must be open enough, simple enough to be able to open up and relate like family, like equal, like colleagues, like family with each other. Okay. Another thing that leads to a breakdown in relationship between parents and their children is when the parents are too busy. When the parents are too busy doing their own thing, They are too busy working. They are too busy, with themselves, with each other, especially when they are too busy with the church. A lot of people these days, they are just so busy, not with their family. They don't have enough time for their children because they are too busy in the church. The church has stolen the family life of some people. I'm sorry. Even though we are all supposed to serve in the church, I'm a pastor myself, even though we are supposed to have our own calling, but not at the cost of the family. So don't let the church steal your time away from your child. So some people are so busy doing the church thing that the child is only left with the doll, or the child is only left with the cartoon, and the child is only by himself and is feeling neglected. That is the reason why a lot of children of missionaries and children of pastors, they don't want to have anything to do with church anymore. And they don't even want to have anything to do with God. Not just with church, but with God too. Because they think that church is synonymous to God. And also they think that the church has stolen away their parents. The church has stolen away their daddy. The church has stolen away their mother. The church has stolen away their youth and their childhood experience. And so they don't want to have anything to do with the ministry anymore. They don't want anything to do with the church because they are thinking it is because of the church that they didn't have a childhood. It's because of the church that they didn't have parents. It's because of the church that they didn't get the best that they could get. So you don't want to be too busy, especially with the church. If you are too busy with your work, it's bad, but not as bad as when you are too busy with the church. If you are too busy with your work, they could say at least it's the work that took your time away, and you could say, "Oh, I'm working for you, for the family," but still, the children you still lose your children anyway. But if you are too busy with the church, they don't just say you don't just lose your children, but God loses them too. God loses them too because they begin to blame not just you and your work, but they begin to blame God as well. You lose the children, you lose the church. You lose your children. You lose. They fall away from the church also. The church loses them, and God loses them. So you don't want church to be the reason why your children will be offended. You don't want to bring offense to your children just because you are too busy or you are too active in church life. So that's one thing you want to correct. You want to put the church activity to be secondary to your family obligation and family interaction and family time. Being too busy is a big challenge in family, and that could lead to a breakdown in relationship between the children and the parents. Another thing that happens is, and that could lead to a distance and a gap between the children and their parents, is when the parents are too, when the parents neglect the children, living their own lives. It could happen that a child, parents could be busy doing their own thing, not just busy with the work or with the church, but when they are too engaged in the house, when they are too engaged with themselves, maybe they are doing their own work or their business or whatever in the house. They are in the house, but they are too involved with themselves, and the child is left by himself. Look at this picture, for example. Maybe this could pass the message. You see, the parents are there. Both mother and father are there. You see them too busy among themselves. Maybe the parents are watching TV, or maybe they are doing their own thing. They are doing what they find interesting. They are doing what they think is interesting. All right? They are living their own lives. But they look at the girl. The girl is left all alone by herself with that doll. If you look at that photograph very well, you will see that the parents are living their own lives and the child is living her own life. But that child is waiting. That child is expecting. That is the internal desire of the baby. That child is desiring that they will have time for her. This is neglect. So this kind of neglect happens all the time in the family because the parents are doing the so-called serious things, important things. The parents are too busy doing the big, important things, but they don't have time for the baby. They understand themselves, they understand what's going on, but the baby doesn't. And she's left alone with the cartoon, with the TV, with the computer, with the smartphone, with the doll. So how do you want this child to be close to these children, to these parents later on in life? It's almost impossible. She's going to run away from them. She's going to be waiting for an opportunity to escape. So that is neglect right there. When the baby grows up to be an adolescent, she will hate to come to the house. Yep. These are some of the things you want to pay attention to. Janet says, Lord, have mercy on me. Oh. I get a lot of people are praying like that now. Monica said, Pastor Sunday, I have seen some people that the children practically live in the church. They walk in the church. The children come to the church wearing school uniform to midweek service, going home late at night. When I see people like that, I just wonder how they cope with their family life. Yeah, they need to listen to this. Ushe Shuku Amadi said, pastors should learn to push people back to their families and children. Do not over-engage your flocks. God is interested in the family life. This neglect is especially prominent among the working class parents. Yep, that's what Darlene is saying. Olukayode said there are churches in Nigeria who transfer the pastors every 6 months. So their children need to change schools frequently. The general overseer claimed they must do that to break bonds of pastors and the congregation. The church did not even give the children scholarship in the numerous schools. So pathetic. That is an example of domination of man by man, or exploitation of man by man. What you just said now. That is not church. That is slavery. Yetunde said, I know a particular pastor, spirit-filled and so on, but his children never attend church with him and his wife. Yeah. Because they are not, because of some things have happened. Abosede Robert, we have to balance the church activity with the family. Mm-hmm. Darlene Madu said, pastors say, because God gave you the children, so you have to come to church, even when it's not possible physically to do. Joyce says, a lot of pastors just want to keep you engaged in all kinds of activities that you would not have time for your family. That is very bad. That is very, very bad. Usheshuku Amade, serving in the church should not be detrimental to your family. You are accountable before God for the outcome of your family. Gladys says, when these kind of children grow up, they will give their parents out to the old people's, to the senior citizens' homes in their old age, so that they will spend the rest of their life there with strangers because of the way they were treated when they were growing up. Yeah, that is what happens, unfortunately. When you are too busy for them now, they will be too busy for you later, when you are too weak to care for yourself. Bolaji Martin said, there is the need for us to look into what matters most as we are raising up our children. Yeah. Okay, the next thing that happens is that leads to the breakdown in relationship between children and their parents, or parents and their children, is when there is strife, quarrel, conflict, and violence in the house. When there is conflict, quarrel, fight going on between the parents. Children are looking at that, they are seeing that, so as a result, they are being driven away from you guys. They are being driven away from you. So, conflicts, fights, quarrels in the family will isolate your children from you. Let me show you a photograph here that illustrates that. When father and mother are fighting and screaming and arguing, among themselves, quarreling, the child is lost. He wants to get out of that family as fast as possible. That child wants to escape quick and fast. He might be in his room. You might not see him physically like this. He might be in another place, in another room, but he's hearing you. And by blocking his ears, it means that whenever he has the slightest chance to escape that family, he will run for his life. Yep, this is what strife, fight, and quarrel would do to a child. It makes him to want to escape, have to run away. Okeaya Ine says, I grew up in a church where our family was going to church 7 days a week. We had no life outside the church. And at the end of the day, I rebelled and got myself a boyfriend. Yeah, looking for love and attention somewhere else. Yeah, unfortunately. Abosede says, when there is no peace in the family, it will affect the growth of the child, the well-being of the child, and it is very dangerous even to the society, not just to the child and to the family. Yep. Next point. Relationship between parents and children are destroyed, and children eventually rebel and leave the house, and they don't want to have anything to do with their parents when those children feel that they are not the priority in the home, that they are not in their parents' priority. When they feel themselves that they are not needed. A lot of times children feel that they are not needed, that they are not valued, that they are not needed, that they are not the priority. Their parents are more interested in, the children could feel that my parents are more interested in parties, my parents are more interested in Ashoebi, in that the Yorubas know what is Ashoebi, planning of ceremonies, Owambes, outgoing, clubs, fun. Parents feel it when they know that the clubs, the societies, and the civil life, and the, in the society, and the high life is the interest of the parents. When the parents are more interested in the fun of life, in some other things, in their friends, in their relatives, in their social groups, than their children. The children feel it that they are not the priority. So when a child feels that it's not the priority, and when children feel they are not the priority in the family, they know that you don't need them, and they don't need you too. They know that you don't need them and they don't need you either. So they leave. So they leave. Yetunde said we should build our world around our family and not the church, our children, our future, not the church. Let's put it straight and get it right. Yep. Anastasia says, today's society is so counter family values. We, the people of God, need to challenge ourselves to return to God, to the kingdom values. Yeah. Monica said, Pastor Sunday, even my sisters used to complain that I am always in church and leaving my daughter at home because I don't, because I'm in the choir. I go to church Saturday morning for choir practice, stay till almost evening, go to church on Sunday, etc. I have really stopped being too engulfed with church activities these days, though I'm still in the choir, but I have balanced it long time ago. Thank you, Pastor Sunday, for this teaching. Yep. Okay. Now, let me quickly give you another topic here. What can we do if maybe some people are asking, what can we do to return the trust of our children? What can we do to restore the relationship of our children, or with our children, or what can we do to to win back our children. What can we do to win back our children? Let me quickly give you several points. If you have not yet shared the link to this message, I think this message is so needed that you might need to share the link to the message. So the share button is under your video. Let's go ahead and share the button, share the link before we finish, so that you'll be able to watch this program again and again. So let's go ahead and share the link to this message. And for those people who want to come to Ukraine for the HMT or for the new year, it's like HMT is coming up from the 2nd to the 6th. So write to the link that is there, or to guest@godembassy.org, and you'll be able to get all the information. And and if you want to spread the word about this platform, there is a link also that's supposed to be provided there. We got the testimony yesterday from a sister, Mayowa, that says that she printed out her own invitation cards just using that link that we provided there, and that she's very excited about it. Okay, so what can you do to restore your relationship between you and your children as parents? Number one, only promise what you can do. Only promise what you are able to fulfill. Don't give your word when you cannot do it. And if you fail, if you default, go and repent and ask for forgiveness, and explain to them why it has not really happened. Number two, what the second thing you can do to restore your relationship with your children: never be too emotional in your reactions with them. Never in your attitude to them. Don't be reactional. Don't be reactional in your reaction. Remove all emotions. If you have been too emotional sometimes in your relationship with your children, go again and repent and ask for forgiveness for being too emotional. Go and ask for forgiveness for those emotions and start again. Next thing that you want to do to restore your relationship with your children: don't think it is something humiliating for you to repent and ask for forgiveness for anything you have done before your children. So practice it regularly. Practice the act of repenting, confessing, and asking for forgiveness from your children for anything you think you must have done wrong. Even if that thing you did wrong was 20 years ago or 10 years ago, you could still go and ask for forgiveness and let them know that you have a humble heart, you have a submissive heart, and that you are always ready, to take responsibility for your action, especially for the wrong things. When they see that, it will soften their hearts. It will enable them to be able to forgive you, and it will also give them an example of how they are supposed to behave when they do something wrong as well. Next point. Make sure that each time you want to punish your children, that you punish them proportionally to the whatever mistake they have made. Don't overreact. Don't over punish them for any little thing they've done. Don't just punish them for any little thing they've done wrong. Punish them proportionally to whatever thing they've done wrong. Next point. Don't punish your children until you have explained to them why. Don't punish your children until you have explained to them why. They must know what has happened, and they must know that they deserve that punishment. And they themselves should even ask for the punishment. They should so much understand what they have done wrong that they know that they deserve that punishment. That's what I mean. Almost like they are saying, yes, I'm wrong, I'm wrong, I deserve it. So it's because you have explained to them so much what they did wrong. Next thing you want to do, make sure that you have clear-cut rules so that the children know what you are expecting from them. Have clear-cut instructions. Clear-cut instructions. Clear-cut instructions If you didn't give clear-cut instructions, you don't have any right to have expectations from those children. Next point. Let the children know only the most important things, the most important values they need to do. Don't overload your children with different commandments or rules. Just decide for yourself the most important rules and principles that must be observed. 3, 4, 5 principles, and give them those. And and others just downplay too many, or a lot of them. Next point. Show your children the ratio of 10 to 1. So 10 manifestation of love, 10 display of love before 1 punishment. 10 display of love before 1 punishment. So until you have shown them 10 times that you love them, or 10 different ways that you love them, it will be wrong for you to help them. It will be wrong for you to punish them and to convince them that you are just. Nice point. Never punish your children in anger. Never punish your children when you are angry. Never beat them in anger. Let your anger go first. It is only after you have cooled down that you can now, punish. Next thing that you need to do, stop fulfilling all the desires of your child. Stop pampering them. Stop spoiling them. Stop, being a slave to the desires of your child. Stop, spoiling them by fulfilling everything that they want. Stop giving them everything they want. Give them rather what you know that they need. Next point. Always make sure that you listen to the child. You must always hear the opinion of the child. Make sure you hear the opinion of the baby and listen to them. Don't just say, oh, only my opinion matters. Don't be dictatorial. Don't just dictate your own opinion and your own position. Make sure you listen to the position of your child as well. Next point. Allow your children to make mistakes sometimes. Their mistakes will become their lessons. If they don't make mistakes, they will not value the lesson. But if they make mistake, and they will be able to reach conclusion. So sometimes we need to allow them to make mistakes, because it is the willingness of the desires of the parents that the children would not make mistake that they made that makes us to begin to control sometimes, because we don't want them to make the same mistake that we made. So we are saying, oh, I want you to avoid that. Let them make their own mistakes so that they will learn their lessons too sometimes. Not in everything, but in some things. Okay, let me see what you people are writing. So many things have been written here. Thomas Yeboah says, Psalm 11:3, if the foundation of the righteous be destroyed, what can the righteous do? We can't make it without God's direction, but we should be careful how to differentiate when to serve the Lord with our children. We need the Spirit to guide us. Anastasia says, Pastor can explain the difference between discipline and punishment. Yeah, discipline is punishment and discipline. They are similar. Normally, we use them interchangeably, but punishment is more like just inflicting pain, while discipline is imposing or impacting lessons. And discipline is probably something that makes you to refrain by yourself from some wrongdoings, while punishment is what you receive afterwards. It's like the pain that you get for violating some rules. Okay, I really have to repent and apologize to my sons, especially the 21-year-old. My God, thank you, Pastor, for this. I'm very sure you will ask me who's been teaching you about apologies. Yep. Maji Agakwe said, there was a time one of my son's friends came to play. I see that he's getting late and I decided to take him home myself. His mom has gone to church, locked his sister in the house watching TV. Wow. I was shocked when I saw the little girl by the door when I was waiting for him to go inside. To make the story short, someone in the area reported to the social services and they kept watch over the family. Yeah, church, because of church, lock the child wow, inside what to watch television. That is, yeah, sometimes we're too religious. Usheshuku, humility is paramount in restoring and repairing our relationship with our children, right? Quarrels and fighting in a home can negatively affect the psychological and emotional development of the child. Such children tend to be aggressive and some tend to be weak and timid. Darlene says, that picture brought memories back when my father always was shouting and packing my mother things out of the house. I'm so happy that I was not brought up with them, though where I was brought up is full of pain and rejection, but I like it there. I can't imagine fighting where my children are watching. Yeah. Adedotun, God have mercy on many families who are constantly engaging in quarreling and conflicts. The children are at the receiving end. Hence, the children reactively disengage from the family. Yep. Adedotun, thank you, Pastor, for the instructions on how to salvage our relationships. Anastasia, thank you, Pastor, for the explanation. Daniel Atsenga, put this in your priority order: God, family, work, church, fun, and sports. This is my order, but does church come before work? Yeah, in different cases, the church work might come before church. It's just that the personal relationship comes above everything with God. That is, Anastasia is okay now. Ushe, show more love to your children than punishment. Listen to your children. Allow them to make mistakes. Don't be a dictator. Ooh. Wow, Bolaji Martins made a whole summary of my points. Jeanette says, I need to go back to something that I normally do before, and I need to add more Thank you, Pastor. Bolaji Martins, admitting fault is very honorable, regardless of the age of the children, right? Gladys Nwosu, I apologized to my daughter yesterday for not being a good mother to her all this while. By the way, Gladys, you asked me a question on my inbox. I think you got the answer today, Gladys Nwosu. She told me that I am not a bad mother, but I always think I am a mother and I know better. And I have to have the right in everything I said. I have to be right in everything I said. But I always forget the children as their right also, and their own opinion too. She is right, and thank you, sir. Yesterday, this church and religious thing is a whole year's lecture for Dr. Adelaja. May God help us and deliver us from unnecessary and religious activities. Yep. Well. I hope you people have shared the link to this message. If you have not yet shared the link, I think you need to. This message is needed out there for everybody to go listen to. TY is here. Thank you so much, Dr. Adelaja. I see where I miss it sometimes, especially the engrossment in work, but thank God I'm always so ready to apologize to them. That has never been hard for me, children or adult. It's good to say sorry when wrong. You are a blessing to us, sir. Thank you, and quick recovery to you. Anastasia is saying, Pastor, is it okay to weep before your children when you are admitting your faults? Oh, yes. That shows the sincerity. It is not just okay, it is the best way to do it. Yetunde, thank you, Dr. Adelaja. We love you loads. Thank you. Okay. I think here we are already. I think we have come to the end of today's class. I hope you are blessed. Today is the last day we are going to be on this platform. Tonight, I will still be here tonight. But from tomorrow, we will go back to the big platform. It's like Facebook is going to unblock us from tomorrow on the big platform. So tonight I will still be here, and from tomorrow we'll go to the next platform. Adedotu said, as a father, I'm learning how to apologize to my children when I corrected them wrongly or emotionally. Pride is great enemy of any relationship. Olamide said, more grace and more wisdom, Dr. Adelaja. Thank you. Shibuzo, thank you. Bolaji, bless you, Pastor. Do have a great day. Comfy, thanks again, Pastor. God bless you. Chisandra, Pastor, thanks so much. We are making amendments. I dialogue more now with my kids. Your teachings are helping us. Ox and blessings. Oster Idehe, thank you, Dr. Adelaja. Agape, thanks for your time, sir. We love you. Thank you. Monica, Pastor Sunday, thanks so much for this teaching. God bless you, sir. What I realize is that we parents are always engrossed with one thing or the other. May the Lord help us. Jide Craig, Dr. Adelaja, in the last few weeks, I have used things I've learned on this platform with great success. God bless you, sir. Thank you. Sunday Away, thank you, Pastor Sunday. Thank you. Ufoma, thank you so much, sir. Valuable lessons learned today. May God multiply His grace upon you. Much love. Thank you. Ola Martin, thank you, sir, for your time and teaching. We love and appreciate you. Thank you. Deborah, thank you, Pastor. More blessings, sir. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And Abraham, great. He's saying, Pastor Sunday, you are live in two places. Where is the second place? Where am I live? I know I'm live here. I don't know the second place where I'm live. Pastor Abraham, great. What do you mean I'm live in 2 places? You are seeing me in another place preaching. Is that on Facebook or on YouTube? In Russian, is that on Facebook or YouTube? Goya Charles, great topic. Once again, we need this in French. Too many French-speaking families need to hear this. Agape, your platform really opened my eyes so much. God bless you, sir. Monica, I've been blessed today and I've learned so much. Thanks so much, sir. God bless you. Well, thank you so much, everyone. It was nice seeing you. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful day. If you have not shared the link, please go ahead and share the link to this message. The message will be a blessing to many other people.